world wakes up, a brand new stage, new promise written on the page. We saw the cracks, turned a new age, tore up the script, got out the cage. The roots dig deep, they can't be stopped. A solid truth that can't be topped. For every voice they try to drop, we rise up higher from the crop. It's just the beginning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning and welcome to Phoenix Talks. I'm your host, Phoenix, and I am so excited to see every single one of you here today. If you haven't yet, hit the thumbs up button. I've got something new in store for you today that I think some of you are going to love, and I love this topic. So I have always thought about sharing this, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to share it. I'm going to see how you guys like this. So good morning, every single one of you. I'm going to welcome you all in. If you're ready for the stream, drop a 1. Good morning, no talkie before coffee. Red Cersei, hello, 007. Rebecca, good to see you. Dina, hello and welcome in. We are so happy to be here. It is Thursday, June 11th. I can't believe summer is already up and running, hotter than ever in Phoenix. So making Chevy Square again. Hello, Tammy. Welcome in. Hi, we're ready for today's Fireballs. Love our Phoenix. She's been rocking it. Thank you so much. Caleb, hello. Thunderous Thursday. And for all of you out in these storms last night and maybe still continuing on today, please be safe out there. I know a lot of you were headed for the shelters last night with all the tornadoes. I have friends out there in that area. Actually, they're outside of Columbus, and they were telling me how horrible it was yesterday, and hopefully the weather is improved today. Halo Art, welcome in. Nona Ryan, welcome in. Amy, welcome in. Angelica, good to see many of you OGs in the house. Nora the Explorer, Gracie Kirk, welcome in. Hey Phoenix, good to be here. Yes, stay safe in that weather. Lulu Bell, hello. We do have the trendiest mods. Yes, we do indeed. And I'm so glad to see you guys back here. Hey Mandy, welcome in. And true to it, good to see you. Peony, welcome back. Hello, everyone. And she says she's ready to go. Oh, no. Yeah, the weather was intense. Hot temperatures, even in storms in the evening. It's crazy. I can't remember where you are, Nora, but it is wild seeing some of these stories, some of these headline stories, even. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Nesters. Hey, Ink Mama. Welcome in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up, swipe down, thumbs up, swipe back. You haven't missed anything. I text my client in Oklahoma. Did it hit there? I don't know. Anybody in Oklahoma? I didn't check the weather this morning. I have been, organizing is my word of the year. And I have been organizing everything possible. So I am on a mission. Hot here in Ohio, New Hampshire. I'll tell you, when I pass, I'm going to have everything so organized. It's going to be so easy for people just to come in, decide what they want. And I know it's probably morbid to think this way, but I like things organized, easy to find, easy routines. Get up, make your bed in the morning, clean. And you know what? For about, I would say, the last year and a half, it has not been so organized. And if I could be real and raw with you, you come to my live, nothing is scripted. You're going to get what you get. But, you know, I just feel I'm not nesting for my daughter who's going to have a baby in October either. I thought about that for a minute. And it is just trying to get my house, my things organized. And I don't know how I got so unorganized for a little while there, but I am on the right track and everything is perfect. It is getting there. Midwest, Texas have been hit. Hopefully, they haven't been hit hard. 90 in humidity. I've got a daughter out in Texas. She tells me it is hot. Those days we used to go to the pool. Makeup is dripping off from how hot it is in Cali. Oh my gosh. Is it really that hot there? We were thinking about taking a trip out there. And if it's that hot, forget that. 82. Let me see. Heat advisory. Yep. Heat advisory. Whew. Wow. Holy moly. That is hot, even for Mammoth Lakes. Fresno, Visalia, San Francisco, San Jose. What is going on? You know what? Let me just do a nationwide weather search. This is crazy. I've not seen. Wow. Yeah, something is definitely happening. Heat everywhere. Makeup dripping off. I saw those swells in Laguna. Oh my goodness. And pray for that little girl out there that they are still searching for. Hey, Legal Swag, good to see ya. October. Oh my goodness. My birthday's October 23rd. We have a lot of October birthdays and Marches here. So 90s in Boston. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's severe. Let me share this one with you. Severe thunderstorms, excessive rain, and heat hazards all around the country. Midwest, damaging winds, few tornadoes, frequent lightning and hail, a heavy rainfall. All right, we got a heat wave going on up there. Not too bad. Hopefully, it will cool down after a couple of days, right? Active alerts. Wow. Radars, the whole 9 yards. So let's pray for the weather. Yeah, mine is October 15th. Whoop, whoop. I can't wait. If you have a birthday this month, happy birthday. Happy birthday, June babies. It's extremely hot. Not even my poor doggies don't want to go outside and use the potty. Ooh, yeah, this is thunderstorm tornado outlook. Eeks. That's pretty rough, guys. So stay safe out there. If you are near shelter, definitely keep an eye on these alerts. Take shelter. Iowa, northern Missouri, Great Lakes, Midwest, Michigan, Illinois, and northern Indiana. Large hail and severe tornadoes some of which may be strong and intense. You guys, be safe out there, okay? Tell you, there's a storm going on in the internet. We're gonna head into the G files today. I don't know if y'all saw this, but I want to do something really different this morning before we start. And I have got to share this 1 second. We're gonna get into it. I love this. I absolutely love this idea. So I'm starting a little excerpt says, "Would you?" Okay, so this is a little segment that's named "Would You?" The humidity is thick. Whew. I lived in Japan. You want to talk about Japan? Speaking of weather, look at this view. Birthday Saturday, no talkie before coffee. I'm outside in northern Florida and it's finally humid today. I went to boot camp in Florida. I'll tell you that was bad. April to June, whew, tough. Humidity is thick as those fog lights BK clipped on. Happy early birthday. This past week, I've had constant migraine. You know what? You're not the only one that has said this, Grace Kirk. There are plenty of people around me and that I know that have had this head pain. It's just horrible. They even had a tornado on the soap opera I'm watching. This is my soap opera. I don't even watch soap operas. I love it. All right, let's get into it. This is my segment called Would You? Drop a 1 if you would do this. Drop a 2. You know what? Let me do a widget. Hold on. Let me just throw a widget up here. And would you? This is a would you? Would you? I'm just going to put 1 for yes, 2 for hell no. Okay. That little poll's going to show up and we're going to watch this, guys. Would you? Ah! I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Both of my screens merged together. So we were in this one and he was just about to finish. What the heck? That would be a definite no then. Okay, so I think the majority of us said, "Oh, no, no, no." Okay, so this is what happened. There it is, the end. Are those shoes flying in the air? Yeah, that would be, I was all up for it, guys, really, seriously. I was all up for it, like that guy, until I saw this one. Oh, hell no. Would you? 43% said yes, and 57% said hell no. So I was okay with doing something like that until I seen some of these you're supposed to duck your head, right? When you come in, and she ducked her head on the first one but not the second one, and that was not blood. Those were actually her glasses that saved her eye and saved part of her nose. So if you go back and play this clip really slow, you'll see that bam, those were her glasses. So I thought, yeah, I would probably do something like that, and then I thought, "Oh, hell no." So that was fun. Now, let's do this. I don't know how many of you saw this uh, video last night on the G's. They did an interview, and I've got my G files, and it's titled That Was a Lie. So, hands down, I've done it. It's the best experience. Yeah, how many of you have done zip lining? It's a long ride, and I don't think my bladder would last through that. Oh my God, it's like carrying an internal brick oven. Oh, hell no. Oh my goodness. That is funny. We have a canopy tours here in Costa Rica. Nope. Nope. I have not done it and I don't want. It scares me. I may have had a heart attack in midair, right? I have. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm sure it's pure adrenaline. I'm sure it would be exciting. Absolutely. So let's get into the live today. I'm so excited. 37 out of 80. Come on, 82 of you. Go swipe down, hit the thumbs up, come back in. And yeah, I would definitely not want to do anything like that. So we're going to get into the G files today. So TIR, the interview room,
if you're not
had them on last night, and we're just going to take a sneak peek at this audio. Now, I'm going to play a game with you tonight, and we're going to say, spot, that was a lie. Okay, I want you to play the game, play along, and let's see how many lies that we can actually spot. I'm going to put your comments on the screen and real eyes analyze. I'm desperately feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. I need my own personal swimming pool. I'm petrified of heights. That's the most exciting thing I've ever. Yeah, I like my feet on the ground too. So let's watch this and let's try to spot the lies. Now, keep in mind, we're not here to disparage, damage, defame anyone. We are actually looking at the factual release documents by the governmental law enforcement officials. And based on what they're talking about, based on what we've seen, what we know, what we read in the evidence, just keep in mind, we are only trying to spot the lies. We are only trying to spot the lies. And we're not going to watch the whole entire thing. I'm going to fast forward it this is just a few clips. I'm going to fast forward it and we are going to try to critically think, yes, and spot the lies together. Because I know I'm not the only one seeing this.
familiar with the IDAHO4 case, Christy and Steve Gonzalez, their daughter Kaylee, was one of 4 University of Idaho students that were killed November 13th, 2022 in their off-campus house while they slept in their beds.
Okay, that was the first lie. We know that they may have not been sleeping.
And so we have had Christy and Steve on.
So every time you see a lie, drop a 1. And then all these opinions, of course, are from individuals that were just looking at this. But we want to remember the evidence from MPD, ISP, the videos from the prosecutor and the lead detective on this case.
Many times over the years to talk about various things with the case, the investigation, how they were doing, repercussions, just all of it. So I just wanted just to put that out there. If people are tuning in and they're not familiar with your family or the case, they just wanted to say that.
But. Yeah, and we won't mention that dirtbag here, so we're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's all about the victims.
Yeah,
it's all about the victims.
And so, question. So, tell us about how you guys felt when you were swimming. And I hear your dog again. I love that. I love that guy.
I'm sorry.
What's his name again? Remind the audience. That's okay. He's sleeping.
Juju, she's a girl, and she's our mama dog, and she's our oldest girl. She just turned 8, actually. Her birthday and Maddie's birthday, May 25th, are the same. So she just turned 8, and she is a snorer. And I tune it out. I'm so used to it. We're so used to it. But anytime we do an interview, people are like,
I think it's her stomach. It's like
she's just my sleepy old girl dog.
Yep, she's a mama.
Juju B.
That's awesome. And what's her breed? What's her breed?
And some of you have said this before. I think personally, when they say sleeping, I think it means helpless, vulnerable. Those are the kind of words that I'm hearing.
She's a Brussels Griffin.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you guys pick her up at a breeder or what?
Yeah, we did.
We had a flight, flew in her. This one we
No,
picked up
we
in California.
picked her up in California.
Nice. Very
She's a
nice.
smooth coat, black and tan, Brussels Griffin. And
Did they just contradict each other? Did Christy say one thing and he said another? Hold on one second. Where were we?
people love Murphy. I mean, so
Wait a minute. I went too far.
Oh,
Murphy's great.
Yeah.
I just, Jack,
Did I go way
couple
too
of weeks or months. If you're not familiar with the
far? Let me see. Hold on.
I love that. I love that guy.
I'm sorry.
What's his
Hold on. Steve said they got him somewhere else, and she says something different.
how they were doing, repercussions, just all of it. So I just wanted just to put that out there. If people are tuning in and they're not familiar with your family or the case, they just wanted to say that. But
Yeah, and we won't mention that dirtbag here. So we're going to keep moving forward.
yeah, it's all about the victims.
yeah.
It's all about the victims.
And so, question. So, tell us about how you guys felt when you were swimming. And I hear your dog again. I love that. I love that guy.
I'm sorry.
What's his name again? Remind the audience. That's okay. He's sleeping.
Juju, she's a girl, and she's our mama dog, and she's our oldest girl. She just turned 8, actually. Her birthday and Maddie's birthday, May 25th, are the same. So
Wow.
she just turned 8, and she is a snorer. And I tune it out. I'm so used to it. We're so used to it. But anytime we do an interview, people are like,
I think it's her stomach. It's like,
she's just my sleepy old girl dog,
yep, she's a mama.
Juju B.
That's
So
awesome. And what's her breed? What's her breed?
She's a Brussels Griffin.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did
Yeah.
you guys pick her up at a breeder or what?
Yeah, we did.
We had a flight, flew in her. This one we picked
No,
up in
we
California.
picked her up in California.
Nice. Very
She's a
nice.
smooth coat, black and tan, Brussels Griffin, and she is beautiful.
Yes, she is. And so, which is a good segue, I guess, into how's Murphy?
Oh,
Murphy's great.
Yeah.
I just Jack actually just sent me a picture. I think we may have been in Crime Con when we got it, or I felt like maybe sitting in the airport or something. And I got this picture of Murphy all curled up on Jack's neck.
Wow.
And then Jack texted me on Kaylee's birthday a couple of days ago and was like, "Let's get together." And
Well,
I was like,
yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah, what would be a good idea if you guys go on the road, with your foundation and everything that we're going to dive into here this evening. You should bring him with you one night, or have him show up if you have something local. You'll have more people will come to pay, to see him, because, buddy, if
More people will come to pay him. What? Is this a money-making event?
we take Buddy anywhere, it's forget the humans. Let's just get to this guy.
Her
So,
icebreaker.
I'm the same way." When we were at Crime Con and I saw that,
Because the pulls emotion, right? Steve said they had a flight, then the pizzas. No, we picked them up in California.
little dog area where there were the court dogs,
yes.
I was like, wait, hold up. I had to pet them all. I had to pick them all up. I had to kiss them all. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And Murphy is loved. He is like, people love Murphy. I mean, so yeah,
His Instagram page has exploded.
we could get some clout with Murphy.
Make some connections that we couldn't make.
Yeah.
What? That is emotional manipulation, folks. We're going to bring Murphy, poor Murphy, and we're going to get the manipulation and get to the pockets that we want to. In my humble opinion, oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
Awesome. Well, so individually though, how are you each doing? I mean, overall, there was some recent, garbage that I heard you guys were broadside at once again. Karen told me, and you want to talk about that or share what your thoughts and feelings were?
So that was, it was definitely a shock because parts of the autopsy reports had already came out in that book that just came out a while back. And we were really upset.
Oh, did we have any autopsy reports in the book? Does anybody, let me grab Broken Plea. Does he talk about any autopsy reports? So I just knocked that over. hold on a minute. Does he talk about the autopsy reports? I can't even remember. When we did this book, I don't think he talks about the autopsy reports. Did he? I don't think so. He talks about the hair in the hand, which was already released by the FBI in February of 25, but he really doesn't talk about the autopsy. And this is the only book that I thought that she would reference when she talks. So I'm confused because I don't remember seeing any autopsy reports. She said the book and the autopsy reports. I thought she said the book. Hold on a minute.
Or have them show up if you have something local.
Oh my gosh, Chrissy, have you seen this? And I have not. And, you see it on the official letterhead and whatnot. And what the medical examiner was going to be testifying about.
I went too far. Hold on.
Or have them show up if you have something local. You'll have more people will come to pay, to see him, because Buddy, if we take Buddy anywhere, it's forget the humans, let's get to this guy. So,
I'm the same way. When we were at CrimeCon and I saw that little dog area where there were the court dogs.
yes.
I was like, wait, hold up. I had to pet them all. I had to pick them all up. I had to kiss them all. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And Murphy is loved. He is like, people love Murphy. I mean, so yeah.
His Instagram page has exploded.
We could get some clout with Murphy.
Make some connections that we couldn't make.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so individually though, how are you each doing? I mean, overall, there was some recent, garbage that I heard you guys were broadside at once again. Karen told me, and you want to talk about that or share what your thoughts and feelings were?
So that was, it was definitely a shock because parts of the autopsy reports had already came out in that book that just came out a while back. And we were really upset about that. But we thought that would be the extent of it. And then we see that the actual official autopsy reports were dropped, and they came from Ada County. So Ada County does not notify us in any way, shape, or form. If something, neither does Latah County per se, but if something comes from MPD, we get about a 3-hour heads up. So
sometimes it's a little longer, to be completely fair. Sometimes
it's usually a couple hours, maybe half a day. But obviously this came from Ada County, so there was no email, and it comes in an email saying this is coming. So no, I was just doing my thing, and somebody texted me and said, oh my gosh, Chrissy, have you seen this? And I have not. And, you see it on the official letterhead and whatnot. And what the medical examiner was going to be testifying about. And I think is what really got me.
Ink Mama, that's a very interesting comment. OMG. Owning a nonprofit also gets you off the hook for paying most taxes. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Personally, I've never had a nonprofit. I've owned companies, but I've never had a nonprofit. But I will say this. Their son, Steve Jr., is some type of tax expert now. Did you know that? Yeah, hold on. Let me grab it. That is very interesting, putting those two things together. Hold on. Let me pull it. That is interesting. And I thought it was interesting that he was in college at the U of I. And here he is. Let me just share this. Right here. He is an enrolled agent at Priority Tax Relief. Enrolled agent at Priority Tax Relief in Washington. Case specialist at Precision Tax. And he was going to school for a Bachelor of Engineering, BE Computer Science. Huh. Well, he was working as a full-time inspo. Well, he was working in Coeur d'Alene in Spiro. What is priority tax relief? In Washington. Let's see. IRS tax relief estimation. This is what they do. Tax forgiveness estimator. Wow. Wow. How ironic. The government has made now the best time to finally restructure or even resolve your tax debt, especially with the IRS hiring all those agents. If you owe more than $5,000 in back taxes, this calculator can help you estimate the relief that can finally lift this burden. Very interesting that Steve would work there. Results driven and federally licensed enrolled agent with over a year of specialized experience in tax debt resolution. He's a federally licensed enrolled agent. What does that mean, federally? What is that? Federally licensed. Agent. That is interesting. Don't you think that's crazy? Oh my gosh. Got to keep the family business going. P.I. Jane. I love it. All right, let's go back to this interview. That's an interesting combination.
Her testifying to the extent of Kaylee's suffering. So that's something that we had convinced ourselves that had not happened, that Kaylee went fast, went quick. The Lord took her. And it was very fast, So we had kind of moved on from that. So to see that the medical examiner was talking about that was hard. And then we have the official autopsy report, but it's nothing that we have not gone through it every single step of the way. Like this. I mean, we've glanced through it, but it's not something that you just want to read every single thing. So to see these YouTubers, these TikTokers, obviously put a lot of time into depicting them and making silhouettes of our children.
Diagrams.
There's this, and it's 3 inches long, 2 inches deep, or it went completely through. This tooth is gone. This tooth is chipped. This is all the way to the skull. This was 5 inches deep. It's hard.
These are the type of things that make you angry as a father. And then you tell yourself, all the work we're doing is getting wasted with just laziness from the court. The court's just being lazy. These could have been redacted. And if these actions lead to more suffering from more families, like this is a triggering event for somebody that's in the wake who's going to read these and then get off on it and get emboldened, then it's on courts like this that just won't do the right thing. And it's frustrating that we'll have to go talk to some legislators and pass more laws because people there's no leadership in the courtroom. At least our courtroom.
We just don't understand why they needed to come out. Why?
Well, it's all a lie. They said, if you do a plea deal, it'll be all easier for your families. I knew it was a lie because I had a good lawyer that had a lot of experience, but a lot of parents were tricked into thinking that this would be the fastest way to make it go away. And we know now if we would have had a trial, it would have been over in November, 6-7 months ago.
Bill Thompson told us the autopsy reports are protected by HIPAA, that even though somebody is deceased, HIPAA extends 50 years. and an autopsy.
Who told them that? The district attorney, Bill Thompson? They're not protected by HIPAA. It's public information in a case that the taxpayers pay for. If the taxpayers want the information, that is why there are ways to get that information legally. Legally, you could get that information. Wow. Are they like, they can't be that in the dark, right? Does HIPAA cover autopsies? No. The person is actually, what's protected under the HIPAA rule is health information. If they're no longer alive, their health information is still protected. Now, did anyone see anything in these autopsies that listed any type of disease? No. The autopsy says that all these kids were very healthy. No disease. So there was no health information in the autopsy. Toxicology reports, kind of iffy, but there was nothing related to medical records about their health. So how could she think that HIPAA autopsy, let me look in the rules are again, why HIPAA does not apply medical examiners and coroners. Here's the caveat here, though. I'll share this with you. And it just took a quick screenshot to go to HIPAA's website, right? And look at the information. It took me 2 seconds. Medical examiners and coroners are generally not covered entities under HIPAA. Their officers are considered law enforcement or public records agencies, like I said. So autopsy records they're produced are typically governed by the state autopsy record laws and public records statutes, not HIPAA. Any of the public can get whatever they wanted. All they have to do is ask, as long as it doesn't expose health issues. So let's say hypothetically, let's just say speculative. Let's say tomorrow that I pass away and they give a medical report. Somebody wants to get that information. You can only get it if you're next of kin. But let's say my neighbor is murdered and there is a big, huge nationwide interest in it. And these records come out. Anybody can get these records. But if it says my neighbor X, Y, and Z, and he died from X, Y, and Z, and he had diabetes, glaucoma, and all these other things, that would be a violation of HIPAA. But all this information is public, classified public information. Are they trying to stop the average we the people public from getting these types of records? Because that's what it feels like to me. It really feels like they are trying to prevent people from getting information that is public. Try to make it more private. That's what it sounds like.
Is covered under HIPAA. And he said they would never, ever be released. So
Yeah, that was a lie.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, so we've reached out to him and asked why.
Are they upset it came out because of the other pending lawsuit civilly with WSU? Is that why they are so upset? I mean, let's ask the unthinkable questions. They're talking business before a show that thousands of people are going to see. I think maybe 5,000 people have already seen this interview. Now, 5,000 of people are going to be like, wait, in the beginning of this interview, they were talking about making money. And now they're so upset over this release of the autopsy reports. Is that because of the pending WSU lawsuit? Sounds about right to me.
And he is not.
He doesn't even have the guts to write.
He has not replied to us.
Because he knows he has no leg to stand on, so he doesn't even reply back.
But we have reached out to him via our attorney Shannon,
We've
And-
actually heard more from Brad Little, who's actually done everything in his power with his lawyers to actually make it right. So it's frustrating when you have.
There's the hook. Brad Little. He has more to do with Brad Little. And I've shared pictures of their youngest with Brad Little. And this isn't the first time that Mr. G in the G files has mentioned Brad Little. What is the main agenda? And I showed you the other day what Brad Little and what Green was doing with the college. And then in 5 years, they wanted to raise over $500 million. Is that what it was? In 2019, they started that. I smell a putty cat.
One that's directly involved in the courtroom refusing to do the right thing. But there's a lot of people in the government who do want it to be done properly, and they're trying to work with us.
It's unbelievable to me that they could release something so, release it and not tell the victims' families, give them any kind of heads up. It doesn't make any sense because they know it's going straight to the media and they know it's going to go straight to social media, and why there is just no thought about the victims' families and the sensitivity. It's mind-blowing. It really is.
Yeah, and now with AI, they can upload these docs and it'll just recreate like a crime scene, or it's recreating our children's bodies.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And if you don't have the original docs, you don't really have a way of knowing if they're embellishing, is this AI, is this what's truly written in the docs, all the stuff they're sharing. So all we wanted was the original docs, so then we could go to our docs and then cross compare and make sure we could keep the narrative as accurate and as honest as possible.
Yeah.
But we weren't even allowed that.
Well, they have the information now, so can't they sit down? Don't they have the money to go to an expert or they could look it up themselves, right? I mean, all this work that creators do, and I thought I did a really good job on Ethan's autopsy. I didn't even report on his head injuries because, you know what? That wasn't the main blow. And his injuries were not as bad as people were thinking, as people put out in the universe, that he was carved and it was this and it was that. And yeah, I'm still working on 2 others.
So,
I mean, we've always been transparent about what happened to Kaylee, but we didn't think that it was necessary to talk about how many inches wide it was, how many inches in length it was, how many inches deep it was.
that's it. I just don't see any purpose in that. That's
It doesn't.
that's sick.
How, it protruded through the skull, through the cheek. I feel like we have been very transparent about, this is what happened to our daughter, because we feel it is important that people know that there are.
But wait a minute, it's the DNA's truth that they don't want getting out. Now, we already know the truth to that one because it was in a court transcript where the forensic examiner, they asked this woman on the stand, and of course you're not going to commit perjury. Hopefully no one will ever do that on the stand. But the DNA truths that they don't want getting out, we've already had out there. It wasn't Koberger's name that came back on these reports. It was not Koberger. If anything, I would be screaming on behalf of the defense saying, wait, you got the wrong person. Let's get this right. Then I would be more inclined to side with the G's and get behind the justice part. But yeah, I believe, Third Eye Not Blind, the DNA and the truth that needs to come out. More people need to know that Koberger's name wasn't on those forensics DNA reports.
There are monsters out there. There is evil out there. He's not the only one. And you don't need to live your life thinking that's going to happen to you. We don't want anybody living their life, but he's not the only one out there. So we wanted, people to know, the details of Kaylee's injuries, but not in that light. And I hope I'm not contradicting myself there.
Well,
I hope you understand
when you ask for a death penalty, you have the obligation to tell the community why you feel it's applicable. why you're asking for the ultimate punishment. So then in that particular stance, I think you have to divulge more. So we were willing to do that for our particular case. We could never do that for any of the other cases. Plus we didn't even know about the other children.
No.
That's always been part of in a mass murder, you can't ask one family to negotiate the totality of the crime when they only know what happened just to their child. And many of the parents, us included, weren't ready to fully dive into what happened to our child. It's too painful to fully get it in.
And let alone the other, and it just enrages you even more when you say, what? She went through that? What? That happened to him? What? That, like, now you're quadruple mad, and like we were already, and it just, it's painful. It's absolutely horrifying what happened to the kids that night. I mean, there's just no ways around it. Like it was bad.
I'll tell you what, as an IT guy, I can't wait for AI to get rid of some of these prosecutors and some of these judges, because they're not doing a good enough job. And you know what? AI should replace you. You should be kicked out of that place. If this is the way you're going to do your job, or lack of your job, you think you're just done when the gavel comes down and there's a plea deal. Well, guess what? AI will outwork you. It'll work 24/7, 7 days a week. And I'll take those results with perfect finality on dates, times, all.
Now it sounds like he's pushing that movie called Mercy. Do you remember a while back I said, wow, I watched this movie. My husband, I was talking about it with you guys, and all of a sudden this movie was released and my husband watched it and he said, you got to watch this movie that I watched last night. And I said, I was just talking about that on a live the other day. I can't believe they made a movie like this. It was called Mercy, and it was with the guy who was in Jurassic Park. What is his name? Oh my gosh, what is his name? Married to Anna Faris. What's his name? Oh my gosh, now I got to look it up. I hate that. He was in Jurassic Park. But it's called Mercy, and it's AI, and he's got 24 hours to Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. And if you guys hadn't seen that movie, it was on, maybe what was it? Hulu or Netflix or something like that? Amazon. And yeah, Chris Pratt. And basically he has 24 hours to prove his innocence. And of course he didn't commit murder, but he proves who actually did it. And the AI lets him out of the chair. So, I mean, it's odd that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Mr. G is now the future crime seeker, DNA killer justice. I don't know what you want to call it. Futuristic solving crimes. I mean, what in the hell?
The laws that'll point out when there's duplicates and repeats. Us IT guys will make the system better.
We've been asking for some help from the investigators or the prosecution to come forward, especially with this book that came out, to get rid of some of the untruths in it, to come forward and stand up, and we just get no emails. We don't get anything back. We're just like, can you help us? Can somebody do a press release? Something. I mean, maybe that's totally unheard of. So people are like, oh my God, what you're asking is insane. But what came out in that book being so many lies, you know, it's, and then people start getting mad at us. It's like, why are you mad at us? Get mad at, you know, at Bill Thompson, get mad at Ann Taylor, get mad at the judge. Like, you're mad at us because, you know, you think that we lied, you know, it's just, it's hard, you know, or that they don't think that we fought for justice hard enough for our daughter. They say it's clear from this book, there's multiple perpetrators, and you guys are disgusting that you were letting him sit in prison when you know other people are involved.
Well, the book was based off of a defense strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we've asked, can you help us?
Not
like
factual, not
Yeah.
factual.
No, all they did was read the report that the defense strategist was going to testify to in trial, and they just regurgitated it and twisted it a couple of different ways. But, if people were smart and they did their homework on who was going to testify, I'm not going to name the person, but ask what university they came from.
Wait a minute. Let's go back a moment. I saw a comment that Christy is a Wells. Are you talking about Stacy Wells Chapin? Is that what you're saying, that Christy and Stacy are related? Is that what you're getting at? She is a Wells. I feel like she's talking about several people. I hope Chris Whitcomb is watching all this. Nope, Candace Wells' sister-in-law. Wow, are you serious? We'll go down that rabbit hole. I'll check all that out. Candace Wells, sister-in-law. So Stacy is married to Jim Chapin, but Stacy's brother is, hold on a minute. Let me think about this. If you're saying that it's Candace Wells, Candace is, hold on a minute. I have to look at It's a Small World. Holy moly, you guys have got to be kidding me. I had no idea. No way. Candace Wells out of Idaho Falls? Summer Wells' aunt. You guys have got to be kidding me. No way. What a small world. No way. No way. Third cousin? Okay. I'm gonna keep playing this, but I'm gonna dig into this because that makes sense why Bullhorn Betty was covering this case and why Olivia got on site and now stopped talking about this case and married Steve J. Oh my God. Jack S is BK's half brother? Wait. You guys have got to be kidding me.
Number one, I mean, I know the whole backstory, trust me. And, when I saw that coming, and it won't surprise me if there's more coming. So just always put your seatbelt on. I mean, we've talked about this in the past, so you guys, but I got to tell you, you are galvanized in relationship to now bringing forward just this amazing new adventure here. And when I say adventure, because, I just read that first line off of Meet Kaylee. Okay. And that top line right here, she had a way of making others feel comfortable almost instantly. And, with all of the negative that you've gone through, she's got to be, and your family as a whole have got to be so proud of you parents. I know your other children, and you've got a lot of personal events around the corner. You've been through a lot, but tell us about this adventure here. What have you got going here with your foundation now?
Well, first of all, I do want to tell you our web designer, since you have that up, she's amazing. Her name is Celine Charlebois, and she did all this, and it was all as a surprise. I mean, we knew she was working on it, but she would show us phases as she was going. We just told her everything about Kaylee. She said, what pictures do you want? And I said, you pick the pictures. You have access to them all. And so as she was building the page, and I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So it was just amazing how she was building it and then showing us pieces at a time. So we owe everything for this page to Celine. She did just a beautiful job on it.
She did it all free, all volunteer.
All volunteer. And she created Kaylee in the perfect perfect
Right.
way.
Yep.
So we are so incredibly thankful and blessed for that. But the foundation came to fruition with a lady that I met from North Carolina named Tracy Bracco. When this happened, she started reaching out to our family and sending us cards and notes and stuff like that. And I just really started
Her handwriting.
her handwriting. I would always notice her handwriting. She has this amazing handwriting, and I would notice her, and I'd be like, another one, she's sending another card. She would send like weekly cards, just being like, still thinking of you, still haven't left your side, this and that. And I finally just was like, I want to reach out to her. She's just a truly amazing person. And we started phone calls, we started texting, and then we started talking to each other. And that was pretty early on after losing Kaylee. And she became, an amazing friend of mine. We've never met. She's one of my best friends. And she just stuck by our side. And she knew when we were going to court, and she would text me, take a deep breath. You've got this and that. Words of encouragement. We'd get home and we'd have flowers. And when the sentencing happened, instead of the plea deal, well, sentencing still would happen, but with the plea deal, a week later after sentencing, our youngest daughter, Aubrey, was going off to college in Texas. All of our other kids had gone to U of I. It's just a short little jot down the road. So we were like, bye, guys. We'll see you next weekend. Well, Texas and your baby, after all this just happened, is a little heavier than see you next weekend, because that's not going to happen. So I was just like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. My life is going to fall apart. I'm going to spiral. And she immediately was like, let's start a foundation. And I was like, I'm just a mom. I would love to do that. That sounds great. I would love to be able to do that for Kaylee, but I don't even know where to start. And she's just like, look, I've got people that I could talk to, and I've got connections here and this and that, and we could do it together. And she just kicked down every barricade that I threw up. She was like, boom, 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 boom. Nope. Now what? And I'd say, well, this or that. And then she'd be like, boom, 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 boom. Nope, we're clear. We got that. And next thing I know, we were building a foundation. And this was back like in August, September. So then we started talking, what is it going to be about? And that took a long time to determine what exactly we wanted to do. At first, we thought we were going to focus on animals because Kaylee loved animals. And then, the IgG thing started floating around, and how important IgG is and how it's new. And so we started talking to labs about that, private accredited labs. And we said, this is it. We want to start paying for funding where these cases don't get sit on a shelf because they're underfunded. Not that.
What's so odd with somebody just saying that about Wells were definitely involved in human trafficking too. What I thought was so odd? In the files, in the MPD files, there are factually, let me grab one of the documents that I was going to talk about at a later date. They did the investigation for Brian Koberger. Let me see if I can make this larger. And the Dropbox warrant recovered from the MPD via Lawrence Mowry, the guy who got the big award from the Secret Service. On January 24, 23, they asked for the warrant for Dropbox, right? And they come back and they say that there were three files. And one of those files appears to be a movie in 2013 that was released, Kids for Cash. And this movie was in Koberger's Dropbox, and it says Kids for Cash is a riveting look behind the notorious judicial scandal that rocked the nation. Beyond the millions paid and high-stakes corruption, Kids for Cash exposes a shocking American secret. In the wake of the shootings at Columbine, a small town celebrates a charismatic judge who is hell-bent on, let me get the rest. This is wild. Does anybody remember that movie? Kids for Cash? You can go watch it. and keeps kids in line until one parent dares to question the motives behind his brand of justice. The real-life thriller reveals the untold stories of the masterminds at the center of the scandal and chilling aftermath of lives destroyed in the process, a stunning emotional roller coaster. Does anybody know what was Kohberger working on? This was the Kids for Cash scandal. It was in Pennsylvania. There are 2 judges that received kickbacks for sentencing juveniles in private detention centers. Here it is. I wonder why he had something such as this in his Dropbox, right? It was a scandal. It was huge. Absolutely huge. And I wonder what this has to do with anything in regards, you guys are saying trafficking kids, all these other things. And it was basically, the adjudications, delinquency, expunged records, dismissed cases with prejudice for juveniles affected by the scandal. There was even a class action lawsuit that resulted in like 200 million in damages and awards to victims, compensatory damage and punitive damages, and that was by Pennsylvania. But there was another one, obviously Kids for Cash for the Juvenile Law Center, and it was uncovering the corruption and advocating for kids. So that was one of the movies that he had, one of 3 that was listed, and they just happened to highlight this one. That was the warrant. There were 2 associated with the Dropbox. Kids for Cash was one of the movies. And they spelt it out. I just thought that was odd. So there was something else that was in the documents that I was reviewing last night. Just an FYI, when they say that Kohberger was stalking and doing all, I don't think we see enough truth that Kohberger wasn't doing what they said he was doing, because this document right here, MPD Narrative 245, in the early investigation after Kohberger had been identified as the suspect, it's supposed to be say as the suspect. I did an initial search for following names, phone numbers throughout several accounts belonging to the victims: Brian, Kohberger, Christopher, blank, blank, Papa Rogers. And Danny Vargas says, I did not find any of the above items, terms related to Kohberger in the following list: Kaylee iCloud, Kaylee Snapchat, Kaylee iPhone, BFU. Now, they got into Kaylee's phone. Whoever's saying they didn't, they had to have gotten into Kaylee's phone. Right there in black and white. 10/4/23. Kaylee's Gmail, her Yahoo, her Instagram, her Facebook. And then it says Bethany and Dylan's Instagram, Ethan Instagram, Xana Instagram, Maddie Facebook, Xana Facebook, Ethan Facebook, Bethany Dylan Facebook, and even JD's Facebook. My notes are attached electronically in the case file. All right. And the second thing I want to point out before we go and listen to them spew all these lies that we're catching as we go on, alleged, is the fact that, where is the one? Hold on. I want to pull the TikTok. Where is the TikTok warrant? Hold on. Is this it? No, that's not it. Let me pull it back one. Let me see if I labeled this TikTok. It's under Kohberger files. As you know, I've been organizing my files. I'm sure you would be thrilled about that. Where is the TikTok one? Okay, here it is. This is the warrant that came back from Lawrence Mowry in. Can somebody explain what Dropbox is? Dropbox is a cloud storage. You go and sign up for it, and then you can put like huge documents in there. Let's say that your email can't send a big file. You can go and put it in Dropbox and you can share it with somebody that they can view the file. So you don't have to email files. Okay, so this is, it's always important that people go and do research. So this is the warrant that came back for Koberger on his TikTok. And I want to be very clear that they went and they wanted to see if it was related that he looked at anybody's TikTok. He had a TikTok account. I found the account, but that account was made after the murders. So no one can say, oh, he stalked him on TikTok. No, he made a TikTok on 11/18/2022, folks, way after the murders. 5 days after the murders. So don't tell me that he had a TikTok and he was stalking. This is what they found. Now, did he have other ones? I don't know. But this account was related to him and it was created on the 18th. So there you have it. There's not enough people talking about deflecting all these lies that we keep hearing. So we'll go back to the interview, but drop a 1 if you appreciate the diligence, the deep dive research. People need to understand this case before they just spew off at the mouth. He was stalking them and he was doing this and that. And I'm not trying to defend him. If he was involved in this, he should be in trouble. He should be, I'm just going to say it. Just like the kid who stabbed the other kid, I'm not going to name names, but if you stab someone and you run off and you try to hide and you're guilty people don't run, okay? Guilty people don't run off when a crime has just been committed, in my opinion. But I'm just saying, oh, come on, put this back up there.
Not like we're going to be able to take on $1 million a year, but we'll start where we can. We'll stay in our lane. We'll stay focused. And this is what we're going to do. And her foundation was born on May 1st. So it hasn't been that long. Every connection that we have is a connection that Tracy reached out and made. All of our board members, and we've talked with them all. And it's all because of her, and now we're just like the busiest women in the world. And I'm like, but I'm still just a mom, and we're doing Zooms every day and we're talking to CEOs of companies and they're wanting to get involved. And it just is amazing. And it has changed my life. It's changed my way of thinking. I still have hard days. It's still rough. Losing Kaylee is never far from my mind. But here's the two I've been talking about here, Tracy and Celine. And they're just amazing. And Celine does our social media. You don't even have to ask her to do it. You just see it. And oh my gosh, wow, Celine put this little, oh, that's so cool. It's just great. They're amazing. And we're just grateful. We're thankful. We're blessed to their families. And we're just going to start kicking butt and taking names and helping these families as much as we can.
Another thing we want to say too is just make it clear, because as we've gone through this, is we're not breaking these cases. These officers, these lead investigators, they've done everything. They've done all the homework. Yes. We're just taking their effort and their work and we're providing funding, because whether people realize it's not, there's all these cases that got to a point of just DNA before IGG even existed.
Yeah.
So there was no line item in a spreadsheet for the government's budget for paying for IGG. We're fighting to get that in Idaho today. So there's all these cases historically that need to be relooked at and funded. And that's what we're just helping. We're just helping these detectives and all these people put this work, and we're just trying to enable them to get enough money so the lab work can be done. And then they'll have way more work to do to go down that list of suspects and maybe take people off of those results. And then they're going to be the ones that are the heroes. Yeah. We're just helping.
We are not solving any crimes. We will never hold on to any information. It will remain in the line of custody. We just have aligned with several accredited labs throughout the United States, the best of the best. They are on top of things. We talk with them. We meet with them. It is incredible how their technology changes and it's getting better, they're like, we're going to laugh at what we're doing this year, next year. We're literally going to, things are evolving so fast in this forensic world, and we're all about it. We're like, let us on. We want to help because we know that IGG solved their case. We know without that, we could be left looking for a white car manually, with detectives putting so many hours. And after so many hours, they have to say, you know what? We've got to put this on the back shelf.
Yeah, because
we have other cases that we have to look at. And there is only so much time, to look for that white car. And that's what we would have been left with.
Sure. I want to ask, how did you guys come up with the name Murder Has a Name as your website?
So we were all in a Zoom and we were all talking as board and we were like, we were just throwing out things. We were chat GPTing things. And Tracy again, she said, what about Murder Has a Name? Because we really stand behind the thought that victims have names. You remember, anybody can be shown a picture of Ted Bundy and you'll say, that's Ted Bundy. But you could put up his victims and not even know who they are. That should not be. So it's the Kaylee Gonzalez Foundation doing business as Murder Has a Name. So Murder Has a Name. In your family, murder might be Jimmy. Murder has a name and it's Jimmy. Murder has a name and it's Sally. In our case, murder has a name and it's Christy. Or I'm sorry, Kaylee. Murder has a name and it's Kaylee. So we don't want those victims to be forgotten.
Wait a minute. Did she just accidentally, honestly say her name?
When we solve their case or work through that to get to that foundation, then it will be Murder Has a Name and it'll be that family. So that's how we were thinking of it.
Yes.
So like a franchise?
I love the fact that you have so many technology, DNA companies on here.
We're getting more. We have Zooms next week to add 2 more. And everybody that we have had Zooms with or met with, they have been like, sign us up, let's partner.
So they're pushing all the DNA companies to work with them to be one storehouse, like a digital warehouse of DNA. Is that what they're trying to do to make it the go-between? Ah, shit. That freaking makes sense. They wouldn't allow the sale of 23andMe and oh, shit. Why didn't I see this before? They're going to be the go-between that law enforcement can utilize. Oh my God. Oh my. They're going to be the ones they utilize to get DNA to go through IGG because it's unethical for police departments to get it directly from companies. So they're going to be the middlemen. They're going to be the distributors of access to the, oh my God, you have got to be kidding me. Why didn't I see the bigger picture before? Oh my gosh. They're going to be the distributors, the dealers that give access to the cops, to the entities, to the agencies to gather the DNA they need. Oh my gosh. No, there has been no legislation. There has been no law in regards to the brokering of how LE gets to private companies like 23andMe, Ancestry. They've not been able to do it. They're going to be the DNA dealers. Oh my God, guys. Oh my word.
We have 2 more and they're big names. So they're coming as well.
Yeah, because
hopefully
some can do like SNP, some can do a new technology with hair. So you come to find out that not all labs have the exact same equipment and have the same sets of processes. Mm-hmm. So you want to have them all in contract. So then if a case comes through and
here's how you combat this, everyone. Don't give up your DNA. Don't give it up. For those of you who have not given up your DNA, don't. See, because they can't go and buy, these big companies can't go buy 23andMe and sell your data. Remember, there was that whole 23andMe. Remember, can you look up probate court judgments for Ethan, Xana, and Kaylee? Ethan didn't have anything in his record. Kaylee had a underage drinking. And Xana, I never looked up Xana's. Hold on, let me look. He is just trying to find a way to be the middleman to law enforcement so they could have access to this information. Jeez. All right, Kernodle. All right, here is, let me share this one. Here's Kernodle infraction in 20. That infraction was driving fast, not a biggie, speeding. And then guardianship was when the divorce happened and they needed to give custody over to, from Karen, Jeremy. I don't know who took over the custody of Xana. It's been consolidated. Deborah Heiss, withdrawal. What was the final disposition? Guardianship, terminating co-guardianship, drug testing for Jeffrey Kernodle. He couldn't get guardianship either because of his history, probably. And then they terminated it. They had a CASA involved. Legal guardianship. Terminate Ian Smith. Stratton Kernodle. Who was that? That's her aunt, maybe? Her aunt took guardianship. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. That's just speculation. Let's find out for a minute. Sandpoint. She was pretty old. She died in 85. So who was Xana's guardian? Kim Kernodle. Acceptance of guardianship. Appointment of guardianship. So they were both appointed on the same day. So that would be her aunt. Kim Kernodle. She was in court, wasn't she? Yeah. So that was her aunt. This was Xana's aunt who was in court. That was Xana's guardian. Okay, so what am I looking for when you asked me to look for that? You said look up the court records for Ethan, Xana, and Kaylee. I just looked up Xana's, and we can go to Kaylee's. Let me go back. We've looked this up before, so let me go back and look up hers. And this must have been maybe the grandmother. And let me do Gonçalves, however you want to say it. All right, Kaylee. Kaylee just had one incident, and I think that was just the drinking. Probate, other than probate. So she had a alcoholic beverage under 21, and that was given out by the Kootenai County Magistrate. That was in Kootenai County. So I don't know what that was in regards to. That was in 20, during COVID, 7 of 2020. Unlawful purchase. So she made a purchase trying to possess or consume. It said unlawful to purchase. So either she had it, gave her a citation, it was dismissed, and there was a fine of $487.50. So she already had something on her record. And then obviously the probate, right after they gave her a death certificate after he pled guilty, and the guilty plea, her dad was listed as her estate. what do you call it? What do they call it? Administrator, probate. So those are the only 2 for them. So I don't know what else you wanted me to look up. Ethan, I don't think I remember seeing anything for Ethan. Hold on, let me look. Ethan. Now remember, Ethan grew up in Washington, so I don't think there would really be anything here. Yeah, there's nothing for Ethan. So I can go to Washington and we can look up Odyssey. Hold on. Let me look up Washington Odyssey for Ethan. I don't think there's probably anything in here for him. Although it's been a while since I went here. Hold on. Chapin. And he didn't get in trouble in Idaho, so there was nothing in there for him. I hate all these have different search criterias. Okay, here's Ethan. There's nothing. It said there was an error. Hold on. I'm not a robot. Nope. Let's see if I can change this. I'm not a robot. I didn't see anything listed, but I could be wrong. Ethan, yeah, just his parents did the estate thing too, almost on the same day as James, Stacy, Ethan. Basically closed out his estate too. That was probate. So that was it. Can you look up the probate court judgments for Ethan and Kaylee? So Ethan and Kaylee have one. Xana does not. And Maddie didn't have one either, guys. So maybe their parents didn't file. That's what I'm thinking. But the Chapins and Kaylee's dad, I didn't see one for Maddie. Hold on. Madison. I didn't see a probate for her either. Hold on. That is weird. You think, oh, no, yeah, her parents did. I just don't see one for Xana. Here's the application for Madison. She had a drinking too, right, in 2019. And her parents did file for probate on 11/3/25. Karen filed for it. That was filed. I don't know what we were looking for, but they're all filed except for Xana. Unless Jeff did it in Arizona. Hold on. Let me go back. Okay. Let's go back to this interview real quick and finish this one.
Investigator gets a hold of you and says, hey, I'd like to apply. You want that agreement to be in place for that courtroom so then you can just flow through the natural train that it would normally go through. You're just freeing those taxpayers in that county or that state of having to pay for that. And we'll just step in with the help of all the people who want to be true crime and they really want to help a family.
Because everybody that's donating is part of this. You know, it's if you donated $1 to our foundation, your dollar helped with our mission. Because none of us are taking salaries. None of us are taking salaries. Everything so far that's been paid for, we've done a ton of flyers and we've done business cards. They've either been paid by Tracy and her family or our family. And, our accountant program, we didn't take it out of the foundation. We paid for it. We want every penny to go to this mission as much as possible.
What's really astounding, first of all, listening to you guys, you're very excited about this.
Yeah.
I think it's fabulous that you're able to put your energies into this and truly it comes from your heart. This is a passion project, not even a project. It's just sounds like an outgrowth of your heart. And, you guys never had, to us on the outside, you went through so much with, just after losing Kaylee, with sitting on the sidelines for 4 years waiting for a trial that never happened. You didn't have any advocates. You still don't have any advocates in Latah County, evident of the fact that they're releasing these documents, something as gut-wrenching as autopsy reports, and you still aren't getting, you're ignored. You're not getting any heads up. And yet, through all that, you guys now have the capacity to be helping and wanting to help other victim families. That is truly astounding to me in a great way.
Well, I want to reiterate something about that helping families. We all know that we went almost 7 weeks without knowing who murdered our daughter. And
that probably would have broke us.
I couldn't even breathe. I didn't know if that person, well, we knew they were still out there. We didn't know where they were. We didn't know if they were watching us. We didn't know if our younger children that still lived at home. I mean, we're like, should we send them to school? Should we have them escorted to and from their cars? Should they be going to work? I mean, even our older children, were they after Kaylee? So now but maybe it was more of an attack against our family.
And they said it was targeted. They made us believe that they did something that, that made them know that something in the background, we're going to find out.
I couldn't even breathe. I literally was like, and the night that he was arrested, I had a complete meltdown. It was ironically the night before the celebration of life for Kaylee and Maddie. Their celebration of life was on the 30th, and he was arrested on the 29th. 29th our time, 30th his Pennsylvania time. But all of our family was in town because of the celebration of life. And Shannon called us at 10:38 that night. And I had just had a meltdown. And I said, Steve, I can't, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, who did this? Who did this? And that weight on our shoulders was just so heavy. Losing your daughter was so heavy. Everything, Maddie, who was another like child to it. I mean, it was just overwhelming. And I mean, I was drowning. And when Shannon called us that night at 10:38 and said, Christy, they just made an arrest, everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything changed. Did we still lose our daughter? Yes. Were we still dealing with the burden of that? Absolutely. But knowing who did that changed everything. I was like, we're sure this is the person. And he said, yep, this is the person. He's back in Pennsylvania, yada, yada, yada. He is under arrest.
Flying back.
He'll be, this is what's going to happen.
The sky's parted and a little bit of sunlight for the first time in 7 weeks shined down on us. And we realized things just got better. That was our first moment to know that things had gotten better.
And it was the day before their celebration of life. Literally, I went running through the house screaming. Everybody comes out of their bedrooms and walking down the stairs, and they're like, what is going on? And I'm like, they made an arrest, and I just don't think that anybody that has, if you haven't been in our shoes, how much that means. So if I can be a part of just the simple part of paying for it, and they get that phone call that there has been an arrest made in their 20-year-old case, in their year-old case, we went 7 weeks and it was unbearable. So my heart goes out to these families. It just kills me thinking that these families don't have answers.
You're working with cases now where I can think of people that haven't known who did it to their child in 30, 40 years. And that's just so overwhelming to think that if we could do a foundation, who needs help more than somebody like that?
Yeah. And that was another thing, because I think I should write a book and call it 7 weeks. I've thought about it literally, because it was just helplessness, hopelessness, torture, torment, fear, anger, everything, every emotion that besides any good emotion, you were feeling. My fingertips hurt. The tips of my toes hurt. I mean, everything hurt. It was the craziest.
And if it hurts so bad, P.I. Jane has a very valid comment. Christy, pay for untested DNA for your own daughter's case. Why not? Come on, Christy. Let's see who really did this. Why not pay for all the untested DNA in your own case? Why not? That's what the foundation is for. Murder has a name. Find out who did this, because factually, Brian Koberger is innocent. And I think they know this, but why do they choose to ignore it? Why do you think that is? Drop it below.
It's the thing.
And then add on top of that the craziness in social media and all of the other stuff. I mean, you guys couldn't go anywhere without somebody yelling at you.
Yeah, our house was surrounded. Our house was surrounded with media probably for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks.
Probably a little longer.
And then it came back once there was arrest, then it started again. But I mean, they just sat out there, you know.
There's not too many legal barriers to test this DNA. All they have to do is go back, and obviously Koberger is going to be exonerated or something at some point. All they have to do is go back. If this is a true factual cold case, they work with the investigators. Their foundation funds the testing, and they go out with the district attorney, who will be a different district attorney, and they will find the truth to who did this to their daughter. That's how it works. There's no really difficult legal loopholes. If you want true justice, get the job done.
We had, signs that said keep out, notes that said leave us alone. Our kids would get in their car and leave and have to go through. I mean, and it was just, it was hard. I don't think that most people realize, and some people.
Well, if they can go out and start and work with all these DNA companies to find the other cases except for their own, then why can't somebody stand up and make another foundation, another nonprofit foundation, to go and find out for Kaylee? Why not? If they have an issue going out and finding who perhaps really did this to their daughter, then why can't either you or I or someone else start another foundation, another nonprofit, to go out and find Kaylee's killer? Nothing's stopping me or you from doing that. Nothing.
I think that we embellished it.
Yeah, like we liked it, we wanted it. It's like,
and it's like,
we're
what is wrong with you? Why would you think that we embellished that?
Do you think that adversity was in preparation for this success?
Definitely. And that's why you hear us more upbeat, more talking. Nothing's harder than talking about your dead loved one. I mean, that's hard. That's hard. Talking about helping other families, that's easy. Just putting in work, just putting work in an organization and telling people that's so easy. But when we were talking, hours a day sometimes about the most critical, damaging things that happen to our kid, that's hell. That's so much harder than this. So,
and that was our life. And it's still our life. We still talk about, but I mean, it was every day, all day. That was our only conversations. We'd sit there and talk to each other, and we still do. I mean, we do. We still think,
well, we have something positive to work.
We do have something positive to work for. And I think Kaylee would be so proud. I mean, Kaylee did watch true crime. I did watch true crime. It totally hits different for me now. But when this idea came, I was like, this is exactly. She would have liked for us to feed starving animals too. So maybe if we get really, really big, maybe we could branch off and feed, animals too, or get a big dog farm or something like that. She would love that too, but she would love knowing that we are giving or we are helping in some way.
Yeah. Going from just viewers to participators.
Yes.
I think that's a way better positive message. That's something I knew I could get behind it, because I didn't want to just watch it for entertainment purposes. It wasn't until I knew I could play an active role, find a case, and then do something about it that I was like, all right, I'll commit to learning about this stuff.
Steve, I've said this before, like me, you and I.
Let me just say this. Here's an open invitation. If you were watching Phoenix Talks, this is Phoenix, your host. If you have a case that has not been solved, where DNA testing has not been done, reach out to me. I want to know the case. I'll do my background, I'll do my research. I have investigators, I have retired law enforcement officials. I can reach out to certain people in different states. But if you have a case where you believe that your loved one was targeted or DNA was not tested, we will take a look at that case. I want you guys to share this with anybody who has a case. And I know Marissa Rivet comes to mind, definitely. But if there is DNA involved, that DNA was not tested, I'm being very specific. If DNA was never tested in the case and there's actual evidence, we'll take a look at it.
I have both married so far up, we can't see straight, right? And but I've got to compliment you. You know, you are one strong hombre, man. You really are. And you know, a lot of people read you wrong. They read you wrong too. So by 2 Marines.
Oh wow, that's tough.
Yeah, and my mother.
You don't cry; they just whip you and make you cry more.
I'll tell you what, man. And my mom used to say, she would pull me aside if I was having a bad day, and she would say, Christopher, and she'd look me right in the eyes, and you know, she'd give me this big hug, but she would hold me and she'd say, Christopher, she says, I want to tell you one thing. And I grew up with this, by the way. Okay, now you know how I am. She would say, whenever the dragon breathes fire, pull out your sword and cut its head off. Wow. I love you. That was crazy. I thought, oh man, is my mom, you know, off base here? But she was a Marine, right? And so once you came to know her, it made a lot of sense of how I am today.
Whatever happened to good old real crime scene investigators, right? Real crime scene investigations. We're going to get into it tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss this on Freedom Friday here at the Phoenix Talks. The Nesters know on Friday the freedom that we're going to talk about tomorrow. You're going to be blown away. Now, whatever happened to good old-fashioned investigations, right? Even though DNA, IgG falls on the investigation part. Who blotched this investigation? In my humble opinion, alleged, of course.
And why I'm the fighter that I am, and I don't care what people think about me.
Her love language had dragons in it.
Yeah, exactly. Love language with dragons. Yeah, and
that's powerful.
Yeah.
But it works. It works, and and that's why I say I think people read you wrong.
Yeah. I was very angry and motivated, and I was getting hit with new information, new details every single day, and I was trying to remain cool. But
is that why their page on the book face, is that why their page is, I mean, think about it. This makes sense. This makes freaking total sense. Guys, their Facebook page to this day still says private investigator. Was his goal, was Steve's goal, and this is hypothetically, we're speculating here, was Steve's goal to become a private investigator, to launch a DNA company like this? Was that his goal? Is that their goal? They have left it as a private investigator. This blows my mind. Watching this. Wow. Chris M. found the DNA on the glove. All he did was gaslight me with. Oh, wow. Wow. And it does sound like it. That's what it sounds like to me. Maybe it was Kaylee's goal. She had a video that she wanted to work with the FBI, right?
People understand this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the system better. And one thing to complain, it's another thing to actually go to legislators and do things like we're trying to do. So
and this stuff is not scripted. So, and we didn't read a book on
how to go through
when
this.
when you know media comes to knock in after your daughter is brutally murdered with her best friend, this is what you say, this is how you react, and this is what you do.
Yeah.
So I did just what we felt we needed to do. And if that was the way we said it, a lot of times things got misconstrued. But we didn't know what to do.
We're just standing up for our daughter.
And then, I understand Steve is very literal speaking. So a lot of times people could take that the wrong way. And some people, I would notice some people would understand and they'd be like, that's not what he means. He means blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, exactly. Like some people do understand what Steve is trying to say.
He didn't have to go upstairs, just flew people.
Oh yeah.
They just didn't understand. And I was just like, I don't have enough time on a 2-minute clip to go into great detail on some of
and when
these
he
things.
said that, because that's one thing that people literally always say, why did he say they didn't have to go upstairs? Well, at that time, we were just told minutes before, we have no idea who did this. We don't know if it was a male. We don't know if it was a female. And that's what made him so mad that he was just like, you're telling me that you can't at least say this was a male. You're telling me that a female went in there.
We should be on the lookout for protect the community.
He was extremely mad. And if somebody breaks into your car and you don't know who did it at all, you wouldn't say, I don't know his name.
They took my wallet.
I don't know who did it, but they took my wallet.
Yeah.
It was a way of saying, or I don't know, how they got in, but the back window, or the house was broken into, they came through the back door.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say he came through the back door or she came through the back door. It's kind of a way of saying it without putting a sex to it, because they just told us. They literally.
If I would have said it, they would have thought that I knew from insiders that they told me it was a guy.
And he just said they didn't have to go upstairs, meaning they went after one of our girls. I mean, that was clear. The only thing upstairs was Maddie and Kaylee's room. And we knew from the coroner that Maddie and Kaylee were killed first. So
walked past other victims.
They just meant.
The coroner told him that Maddie and Kaylee were gone first.
It's an unknown sex, so you couldn't say he or she. So you just say, whoever it was, they didn't have to go upstairs.
But now we know that there were more than possible 2 weapons by Steve G's own words. So there had to been a they.
So that was my way of saying.
And people just still to this day, let's not forget that he said they. Well, it's like he said they because there was no sexual term put on it. We didn't know he, she. So yeah, we don't know why they went in the house, but they went upstairs.
Yep. So we want Idaho and all of America, actually, eventually, when it's all said and done, to be a safer and better place. And like we saying before, off the script, that I'd love for us to go to CrimeCon, and every year it got a little bit lower, and we had less these type of murders and these type of things get to the point where we all go there and talk about how there's none. That would be beautiful. So that's the goal. And I've always played sports. I've always been competitive, gone through my whole life since I was just a little, 2-foot kid all the way through. So this is how we'll do it. We'll try to make the system better, and we'll partner with guys like you two. And you guys have been doing it a lot longer than us.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more wisdom and experience, and that's why we're here. And we hope to help another family.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that talk.
Little to do.
It's perfect. If he's just so perfect. She. I don't know. Yeah, you guys know. What? Any other false narratives that you guys want to address? I mean, just kind of an open-ended question. Is there anything out there that absolutely drives you crazy that you want the public to say, look, enough?
Actually, there is. This one really gets me, and I'm so tired of hearing it.
Okay.
That we only speak and we only went to CrimeCon and we only are here on shows like yours tonight because we are making money off of our daughter's murder. We are grifters, and that's all it's about. We don't even care about Kaylee. We just want the money, 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 money. They just want money. And I want to be very clear that we have never been paid for one single interview. And let's talk about the GoFundMe. When the GoFundMe was for trial, the 3 months that we planned on being away, we offered every penny back. We understood that we weren't going to trial. And we said,
That's interesting because now they have an Instagram on the new venture that they went on. Murder Has a Name. And I saw there was a Facebook page, Murder Has a Name. There's some other socials out there that are brand new. So I bet it's coming.
several times on our family page where we promoted the GoFundMe, said, if you want your money back, please let us know. We will give you your money back. Just tell us the date, the amount, and your name. And we had already talked to GoFundMe. They said we would be able to locate it like that.
Yeah, GoFundMe told us, anonymous people, we can't even disclose that to you. But if they disclose themselves and give the time and the date of what they did, then we will issue that back to them. But we'll still never tell you who it was, because that's how our platform works. So.
And Steve even did an interview in People magazine and spoke of that. So we tried to cover all of our bases. One person got a hold of us, and they actually tried to swindle us out of $4,000.
Yeah, they tried to scam
One
us.
person got in touch with us, said, my name is this. I donated on this day, and I donated $4,000, and I desperately need it back. We got a hold of GoFundMe. They went through their things, and they said, first of all, nobody donated
that amount,
$4,000.
Let alone that date.
Not on that date. What is this name again? They did everything. We worked for them for like 3 days trying to locate this person. She insisted. So
they're like,
finally, I pulled the plug and I said, look, you are trying to scam us, and shame on you. And she was like, gone.
Wait a minute, Christy, you mean you didn't have a Nigerian prince family member and they had money in the bank for you for your inheritance?
Yes.
No,
Just send us your bank account and we'll deposit the money rapidly.
Just the fact that happened, Christy and Steve, is, speaks volumes for what you guys have been put through needlessly by, to your point.
And in the end, 99% of the people, 0.9 are good and did the right thing. And there's just that one little fraction that they're the pro burgers.
And the people that complain, when I ask them, did you donate to our GoFundMe? Because if you did, please let me know your name, the amount you donated, and the date you donated, and I will get you your money back. Well, you don't hear anything, but it sure is something they like to talk about. So GoFundMe, we offered every penny back if you wanted it. And we have never been paid for a single interview or a documentary. Never.
And another small one too, just for those people out there, just to destroy their narratives. Kaylee and us, we loved her to the bit. She was here the very last week before she passed away. She went with her mother to go get a car. People would try to say that there was some kind of family rift.
Yeah.
She wasn't staying with us. Just complete lies.
They said that we were not estranged. Yeah. That she was estranged from our family, that she didn't even talk to us. Matter of fact, she lived with her grandma. Or the funny thing is, grandma lives with us because that's my mom. And when my dad passed away in 2016, we moved my grandma in with us. So, no, I mean, I talked to Kaylee the day that she passed away, or the night before. She was texting me. She was sending me pictures of her and Maddie. She never had any of us blocked on media, any type of media.
We're a very close family.
We've never been estranged from her. Neither has any of her siblings. I mean, they may have, back in 8th grade and 6th grade or something, been like, I'm blocking you or something like that. But as adults, there was no estrangement. Absolutely untrue. Yeah. She did talk to us all the time. All of us.
Yeah, we did take her Subaru money.
And Steve.
Wait a minute. She's talking about Kaylee's grandma, which is Christy's mom. Is that correct? Drop a 1 if you understood what I just said. They're talking about Kaylee's grandma, which is actually Christy's mom. Let me just make sure I got that right. Hold on. there is a document that was, hold on. There was a document that was sealed that was released from court. I'm trying to pull it up. And it had to do with the family members. And Kaylee's grandmother is listed, hold on, under the states. And I always wondered why it was sealed. Now I know why it was sealed. Oh my goodness. That makes sense. Let me pull the doc. It just hit me. There was a document about families, names, relations. And that makes sense now. Let me find the document. Oh my goodness. It was sealed and then unsealed. And I kept saying, why would they seal the people's names? Why would they seal Kaylee's grandma's name? Because Kaylee allegedly has 2 grandmas. She said it was her mom, Christy. Christy's mom is married to allegedly another woman. And those 2 names have been unsealed from the court documents. I can't make this up. So why would they want to hide that? Why allegedly would they want to hide that? It was unsealed and there's listed 2 names for grandmas. What people would think? Why would they hide this? I just caught on to it. Boy, I must be like living in the dark ages over here. I just caught on to this. Let me look at her Facebook page. Let me see. Candace Wells is spelled Candus Wells. Now I get it. Yep, I was right. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. Lukens, Lukens. Oh my goodness. You can go to their Facebook and take a picture. Now that makes sense.
Steve didn't try to steal her money from her car when she sold the Subaru. He was with her.
I was with her
because it was a cash deal. So he's like, I'm going with you, honey.
Safety.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna. This guy could pull out a gun or something and rob you. So grab the pink slip and take off. So
yeah, he went
I'll
with
be
her.
There.
But we've been told
went to a Walmart parking lot.
We were told, we've seen it all the time that Steve took the money, and in actuality, we bought the Subaru. So in actuality, the money did belong to us, but we gave it to Kaylee. We're like, no, Kaylee, you go. You're going to get a new car tomorrow. I'll go with you. Use that money for your down payment. But no, we didn't take a penny of her Subaru money, and he was 100% with her. Yeah. So that's another one. People love to talk about that too.
Well,
so weird.
It's easy if you don't want to, if you still want to support the victims and you want to talk bad about their parents, then you create this narrative that that you could do both. You could support Kaylee and then rip the parents, when in reality, Kaylee would want nothing to do with anyone who was talking bad about her mom or dad. Ethan would want nothing to do with someone who was talking bad about his mom and dad, and right on down the line. So don't let people do that, you know.
Yeah.
It's see through that. I hope people see through that.
It's just, those are 3 that you just repeatedly see over and over. And it's like, oh my gosh, where do you even get this? Where it even says in the police reports that she was with her mother and her grandma's when she bought her car, which was 2 days before she died.
Yeah, how many college girls go with their mother and their grandmas to go car shopping? I mean, That kind of
I
tells
stayed
you.
home from work. I called in sick to work and was
Oh.
like, okay, fine.
Another little story, but she was saying how hard it was to get Bree to go to college. This is the mother that held Bree back one extra year so she wouldn't go to kindergarten, or was it preschool? I think it was kindergarten. She wouldn't put her in kindergarten because she was like, I'm just not ready for her to go.
Well, her birthday's in August. So you had to be 5 by or 6 by August 1st, which she was, but she just turned 6 barely. So I was just like, she's too young. I'm keeping her home another year.
And you never regret that decision.
I didn't. No, never.
I was like, the competitive part of me was like, get that girl. She's ready. She's ready.
She was ready, but not to leave me. I was not ready for her.
You weren't ready.
I wasn't ready for her to leave me. So I was like, she's staying home when we're here.
But she's doing good. She just got her first year. Her worst grade was 94%. And I talked to her about that. We got to get that up. But she's doing really good.
Yeah. What about, it's crazy. How did you navigate that though? It had to be extremely difficult listening and then thinking about it, because I can only, we can only measure our experience, right? I mean, and, the craziness of, all of that in of itself. But you guys, I had an aha moment when I was driving one day after the death of our son, and I was driving, and I remember listening to the radio station, and I was having a moment where, I was crying in the car, I'm just like meltdown. And all of a sudden I heard on the radio a news story about a father in, I think he was in Arizona, if I remember correctly. And he woke up after an automobile accident, and he lost 5 kids and his wife in the automobile accident.
I think that was local here.
Do you guys remember that?
Yes, I do. It might have been a similar case, but we had somebody here in our
just
community.
like that. The whole
It may have been your community. Okay. And anyway, it was right around 2005, 2006, in and around that area. But I was like, we were like 3 years into it. Okay. Our situation, nothing compared to yours, by the way. And so forgive me, for the puzzle. But anyway, I had an aha moment, and it was like, holy cow, yeah, our situation's bad, but it's not that bad. I know that sounds weird to say that, but I think it's a reality take on, what was going on, right, in our life, and through these different phases of our lives, where you guys now are you're taking all of this, all of the love you have for your daughter and for your family, and you're putting it to work, you're empowering it. And it just shows so much about your characters, the fact that you're empowering it to help other people. And the fact that people come at you, we're going, well, you're benefiting off your daughter, et cetera. That's just ludicrous. It's ludicrous, because you could do that. People do that. I mean, but you haven't, you are no way in shape or form connected to emotionally, spiritually, or whatever, the universe is on schedule. Are you connected that way?
And the other thing too is, I feel like, Christy and Steve, it's over, but there's sort of this, it's not over. Every time a new book comes out, every time, a movie comes out, every time something, we don't even know, there may be another public document release.
We do know there is, because there's
coming up,
25.
right?
The year 2025, we still got to get 24 and 23, and then at the end of 22.
So I think the fact that you're not through this and dealing with it, you're still in it. You're still dealing with this, all of this, and yet you're still able to direct your energy, your passion into this new foundation, and to truly want to help other families. I just think it's remarkable and commendable, And to Chris's point, it really shows the love you guys have in your hearts, because it's not over, right? This didn't happen 10 years ago and there's a finality and, no, you're still living it, sometimes day to day. So,
or moment to
truly,
moment to
or
moment.
moment to moment. Yeah.
We understand that, when all the cameras go away and, it's 3:00 in the morning and it's just the two of you looking at each other going, why are we here? What's going on here? Okay. And it never makes sense, right? It'll never, you'll never make sense of it. And so, our friendship to you and our advice, go pressing forward, we're into 23 years now into us, into our situation. And it feels like it was yesterday. I mean, I had a friend of mine the other day talk about it. Actually,
So I don't know what happened in their case with their son, but why can't the G Family Foundation made in Kaylee's name find out the information that they don't know, and then the other people find out the information that they're looking for in each other's cases?
he's coming here this Saturday. And he's like, how you guys doing? We're doing, we love you guys. How are you? What's going on? Let's talk about you. And it's almost like you don't want to talk about it, because, you don't know how to make sense of it. And I just admire the two of you, that the fact that you have put, what's a good way? I want to make sure that I'm saying it appropriately for Kaylee. That you've empowered so many people.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Thank you.
You nailed it. We're trying to take all this positive energy that people have put into our hearts with our mailbox, sending us stuff, and we're saying we owe those people.
You're giving us strength.
Yep. They were our medicine, and now let's turn that straight in and pass it on to the next family, because we can help them, because we do have insider information on how this works, and we can pass that on with the audience that we've created. We're sharing with you right now, and we can just pass that straight into a family and make the system better.
It gives us strength. And I do want to reiterate on something that you said, where you said, you heard that story and you thought, wow, I thought we had it bad, but this person really has it bad. That's how we feel about people who don't have answers. Like, look, we think it's so bad that we don't know why he did it. We don't have a motive, but that's nothing compared to not knowing who did this crime.
Right.
So, we're like, we think we have it so bad, but at least we know what we feel is part of the worst of a murder.
Yeah. If we didn't have someone, guess how many people would be saying I was the guy.
Oh, they still do. Yeah. But I mean,
So, those families are getting that kind of hate too, where you have a suspect, then you're going to say that the family is. So
yeah,
it's another way of torturing them. That's super unfair. That if we could end that right off the bat.
I think about John Ramsey all the time, the time, is one. And I think this poor man, and he lost a child before John Bonet, and I think, you know what? Yes,
he deserves.
We lost our child in a horrific way, but you know what? There's still people out there that are dealing with a greater loss, and it's hard to put into words. I mean, there is no greater loss than your child. There's not. But when these families have lost two children, they don't know what happened to their child, or their child was found years later, in a field. That's bad. That's so bad.
In that way, Ramsey has helped us snap out of it.
Yeah.
And be like, that man had it worse. Him and his wife had it worse than we did. So let's just put our boots back on and start working.
Yeah.
Sure.
Honestly. And I was able to talk to John, and we had an amazing conversation. Ashley Banfield put us in contact, and we shot each other back and forth some text messages, and he's a fantastic man.
He's a fire.
And our prayers are always with them. Always.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, the Cold Case Foundation we've been working with him for the last year behind the scenes.
Good. I hope that, yeah.
We've
Let's
had,
go.
I just
Let's
had a
go.
meeting.
Okay, so that's pretty much where I'm going to stop this interview. There's not much left. We already got to the meat and potatoes and all the lies that we've seen from documents. So here's what I want to say. When we start to think about the G files in the future, always benchmark it against the evidence, right? They say they weren't getting all this information. They had an attorney to get information. Then they say they heard this right before, but yet they still said whatever they wanted to say. Were they misleading the public in this case? So this case would be a bigger case? Who was driving the force? There were no other families that were up front and center and outspoken as much as the G's. Well, one thing that caught my ear that made me rethink this whole interview was their own Facebook page, like I said earlier. Was this the goal for Steve to now become or the family or someone to become a private investigator and start this DNA company to be the liaison to LE to fund and pay for genetic genealogy? If you think that's a possibility, drop a 1. So many more questions that I have in regards to this new interview. So many questions come to mind when I'm still looking at all the evidence in the IDAHO4 case and the news that continues to drop. They're still on the center page. They're still up in. I don't understand. I don't understand that Koberger, that we now know may be factually innocent, possibly totally innocent, and they still have him on the front page in the news. What is the agenda that they are still pushing? What do you think? Drop it below. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow is Freedom Friday. You don't want to miss, y'all. It's been awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all know the drill. Don't give your DNA freely. Who cares about who your ancestors are? Right? At this point, knowing what we know now, when all this DNA started in 2009, yes, 2009, folks. What's next? I think it should be clearly, don't give up your private information, and that is your genetic code. Y'all be well.
You see it? It's all coming down. Let's go. The world wakes up, a brand new stage, new promise written on the page. We saw the cracks, turned a new age, tore up the script, got out the cage. Dig deep, they can't be stopped. A solid truth that can't be topped. For every voice they try to drop, we rise up higher from the crowd.
is just the beginning.